It's the most wonderful time of the year. I know they talk about that around Christmas and the holidays, but in the sprint car world, it's the month of August. And it starts off this weekend with the 360 Nationals at Knoxville Raceway on the famed Marion County Fairgrounds. And then it rolls into next week with the 60th running of the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals. Erin, I really think this is the most wonderful time of the year.
Oh, I would agree. And you forgot the front row challenge that's thrown in there,
T-Mac,
and the dingus and the 410 dash.
What's dingus?
It's this little establishment across the street from the racetrack. I don't know if you've ever been there before. They serve some cold beverages.
May have spent a little time with Carrie Madsen and Aaron Reitzel there when we were out for the Truck Series race one night. May.
And I can see why you wouldn't remember it, because that does happen there. It does happen at the Dingus.
We are so excited. It is Knoxville Nationals. The 360 Nationals, as we say, are coming up this week. And so when we have the Knoxville Nationals, every big party or great show needs a coordinator, needs a person that keeps us all in line and going where we need to go. And by the way, she's Erin Evernham. I'm Steve Post. This is Wing Nation, presented by Dryden by DRF Racing Oils. And the coordinator and the person that keeps everything going is Kendra Jacobs out in Knoxville.
What do you call him? The chief?
Chief cook and bottle washer. That's right. The chief cook and bottle washer. That's right. Exactly. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk to Kendra. Before we do that, though, let's go to Knoxville Raceway for this one as well. It was the Flow Racing All-Star Circuit of Champions. Spencer based in Gio Selzy, and here comes Carrie Madsen. Here's Tony Bachhoven with the call on Dirt Vision.
And now for the Dryden death-defying move of the week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track moves.
Spencer Basin looking to the outside of Madsen now for second. Madsen slides up to block as they enter into turn one. Madsen to the bottom. Spencer Basin to the top, racing for the lead in turn two. Carrie Madsen takes it back from Giovanni Selzy.
That death-defying move was brought to you by Dryden Diesel All Def, the official DEF of the World of Outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit Dryden.com for more information.
For decades, Dryden Lubricants has been made in America and made to last, paving the way on our highways, in our fields, and on the production line. Today, Dryden offers a complete line of engine oils, greases, hydraulic and transmission fluids, and diesel exhaust fluid. If you want greater performance and protection for your critical engines and equipment, go to Dryden.com. Dryden, American-owned and operated, and a proud supporter of racing and race fans everywhere. Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. Go to HerculesTires.com. There you can find the nearest authorized Hercules retail location to you. Plus, you can use the tire tracker to find out which Hercules tire fits your vehicle the best. That's HerculesTires.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength. Wing Nation, presented by Dryden DRF Racing Oil. Let's go to the Sage Fruit Hotline. Joining us from Knoxville Raceway, getting ready to orchestrate the greatest 10 days in the history of the world, is Kendra Jacobs. Hello, Kendra. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on right before all the good stuff starts.
Kendra, Erin and I had a little discussion in our show. In the Christmas time, they call it the most wonderful time of the year. We're going to steal that and just call the first 2 weeks of August the most wonderful time of the year. I think we're just going to take that right from the Christmas season.
I mean, I think it's appropriate for anyone who is a dirt track sprint car fan, or I would say a race fan in general. Even if you're not here and you're watching every night, it is the greatest time of year, without a doubt.
You'll love this. Saturday, I was at Hickory doing a Cars Tour race, the Asphalt Model Stock Tour, birthplace of NASCAR stars. Kendra, I am not on the property 3 minutes. I sign in, I turn around, a guy comes running up to me, "Postman, when are you going to Knoxville?" I said, "I'm going next week." He says, "I'm leaving Tuesday. I'm going to be out there the whole time." So even in Hickory, North Carolina, they're excited about Knoxville. That speaks volumes for what's going on out in Knoxville.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we reached a lot of new fans this year through SRX and NASCAR. And I think a lot of people were like, I've heard of Nationals, I've heard it's cool, but now that I've been out here or have watched these two races, now I want to get out there for their biggest race. So we've seen a lot of increase in buzz around this year's Nationals, a lot of first-time visitors that are planning to come. And, you know, like what you just said, we've got a lot of fans that said, you know, in the past, I've only come for Friday and Saturday, but this year I'm coming for the whole week. Or I used to only come for the 410 Nationals, and this year I'm coming for both weeks. And that's always been our goal, is to get people to come out and enjoy it longer. And, you know, we know that everyone saves up their vacation days and their vacation money to spend a vacation in Knoxville, Iowa, of all places. So we want to make sure it feels like a vacation for them.
Kendra, on top of all that you're saying about this year with SRX, the Truck Series, new fans, I wanted to ask you about, even in the past, seeing some of the NASCAR media or other motorsports media come to Knoxville. And I take, for example, Jeff Gluck, because I've spoken to him a number of times about it. But to see them walk away from Knoxville and write such positive things about your events at Knoxville, Iowa, and to see the reaction, you know, they're bringing in new fans from all over motorsports. But how gratifying is that just for you personally to see, like, these people have been to top of the line events all over the country for different forms of motorsports, but yet they write such positive things about Knoxville?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the gratifying is such a perfect word, Erin, because you know, for us that have been coming here for decades, we've known what a treasure this event is. Mm-hmm. And I think now it's so gratifying to see other people see what we see. And, you know, I think for a long time it was like, oh, it's just a dirt race. It's just a dirt track. And that, unfortunately, was the attitude of a lot of different series towards what we do. And I think people like Jeff Gluck, and this year Matt Weaver and Matt Crossman, you know, Lee Spencer has come in the past. I think all of them saying, we've been to big pavement events. We've been to these first-class, hugely attended, live on TV races, and damn, did we have fun at Knoxville. And that's, you know, that's who we are. Is, you know, we might not be live on TV and we might not have 80,000 people here, but we sure know how to have fun. And we know how to put on a great race, and we know how to get people coming back year after year. And I think those reporters and those media members saying that they experienced that and the first time they were here is what tells other people, okay, I need to give that a shot too. So yes, gratifying is the perfect word.
Kendra, I had a road trip 2 weeks ago. I went to Memphis and I caught 2 nights of 360 racing, the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour. And I mentioned that where I just became enthralled. 360 racing, it's like the little brother. We understand that, but what a spectacular little brother 360 racing is. And they are the headliner this weekend. This 360 Nationals, I have no idea who would be favored to win this one, which speaks volumes for it. That segment of the sport is just so solid, and this weekend is a really, really neat chance for those drivers to showcase their skills and talents. Yeah,
I mean, I think if you said I have to name who is most likely to win the 360 Nationals, there's no one. Yeah. There is not a single person that I could single out and say that's the person that has been running the best, because it's such a diverse section of our sport. So I wouldn't even know who to say is the front runner for that. And the 360 Nationals continues to grow every year. I think we have a record entry right now for that event, which is unbelievable. So it's 3 days where we're seeing more 410 teams put a 360 in. I'm sure you're going to see Brian Brown put in a 360. I know Corey Eliason, Gio Scelzi, King Sunshine, Tyler Courtney is putting a 360 in and running the 360 Nationals. I think that event just continues to grow. The field is getting more and more diverse, and it is one of those events where you truly have no idea who's going to win.
Yeah, and I feel like that's almost the case every year. There's usually some favorites, but it's not quite like the 410 Nationals. Kendra, you...
No, like Terry Madsen winning last year.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I wouldn't have picked Terry to win the 360 Nationals. He was fantastic.
Yeah, I feel like there's a little crapshoot there.
That's one of those surprises.
And now the way he's running around there, he may win the 410 Nationals the way he's rolling.
Yeah.
Holy
he's in my top 5. He's definitely in my top 5 for the 410 Nationals from what I'm watching.
What a story.
I would agree.
Gosh, what a story.
Kendra, you talked about before making this an event and getting people to just come for more than Friday, Saturday, coming for the 10 days, the whole thing. one of the things that Steve and I talked about before the show was we gave you a lot of credit for making this an event. I remember my first nationals, and gosh, it was a long time ago now. And I went with my brother. We knew no one, and there was really nothing to do during the day. We were like, we didn't know any teams. We didn't know any drivers. We were just fans, and we kind of like twiddled our thumbs and couldn't wait for the races to start at night, parked in the Pamita parking lot way back when. But anyway, I say all that to talk to you about what you've done and created. I mean, we've talked about the 410 Dash, and there's so many kids zone events, and there's just a lot going on. I feel like you deserve a lot of credit for that. Talk about how fun that has been to make it just a real fun event for families, for kids, for everyone, and to have something to do during the days.
Yeah, and that was really important to me when I started in this marketing position at Knoxville. I mean, my experience with Knoxville is as a fan. I was the driver's daughter, and Knoxville was like heaven to me because that was the week of the year that we all got a little bit of freedom as kids. My parents knew where everything was. They knew if we got in trouble, someone would tell on us. And they knew pretty much the community enough to know we were in good hands or we were safe wherever we were. So I wanted everyone to feel that feeling when they came to this track. And for me, the actual time on track is about 15 to 20% of your time here at Knoxville. So that other 80 to 85%, we need to entertain these fans. Like I said before, it's a vacation. It needs to feel like a vacation. So I wanted to have fun activities or events for every different age group, every different kind of fan or interest, that they have something to do at all times every day. It's created a ton of work for me and my staff, but I think we enjoy it. I mean, some of it we have down to a science. Every year I add something new and they all roll their eyes at me and they're like, we only have so many hands, but it's really important for me to add events. And I think the most satisfying time for me at Nationals is to see other people having fun. Whether it's the kids at the Great Southern Bank Kids Zone, whether it's our sponsors at our sponsor reception, it's the drivers at the drivers meeting and the autograph session, or it's the fans at the post-race concerts or the huge NOS after party on Saturday night. Those are the most satisfying times to me. I have zero control of what happens on that racetrack. It might be the greatest race we've ever seen, or it might be one guy leads all 50 laps. We don't know. But I have some control over what happens all the other times, and I want to make sure that those times are what people are still talking about when they leave.
You talk about going there as a child. You talk about hanging out, and you know that your parents, if you did anything wrong, your parents would find out because someone would narc on you. I think the good news is you were hanging with wholesome people like Brian Brown and AJ from Dingus.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
Those were my best friends. I mean, that is who we hung out with, is Brian Brown and PJ Schmidt and AJ and Billy Mottet. And, we used to sit on the little half brick wall out by the highway and say, man, we can't wait till we're old enough to get into Dingus. And now AJ owns it. I'm hosting big parties at Dingus, and it's just crazy to think about these kids and how we started here at Knoxville, riding our bicycles around town and going to Cone Corner to get ice cream. And now we have these roles at the track that we're creating those memories for kids that are just like we were. And I know all of us feel like that's a very special role, and we take it really seriously. Look at where it ended up for us. And who knows where these kids that are 12, 13, 14 years old now will be in 20 to 30 years.
That's pretty crazy to think about. The three of you. You've got one who is one of the top drivers at Knoxville, a woman who's pretty much running Knoxville, and then, of course, AJ with the most important job. No offense, but running the Dingus is...
Because you got 20% of their time in Knoxville. He's got about 80% of their time at Dingus. So.
It's so true. It's so true. And it's fun when the three of us get together, which is not often, but when we are at Dingus and all three of us see each other, it is kind of crazy to think about those days when we were, I think, about 14 years old, running around town together.
Erin and I spent a good portion of our podcast earlier this week talking about the weird combinations in sprint car racing as we go into this one. We have Brad and David and Donnie and Logan and Sheldon and Aaron. We know those guys. But when you take Kerry Madsen in that 14 car, when you take Brian Brown with Danny Lasowski turning the wrenches on that car. One we didn't even mention is Darren Pittman in the Swindell car.
Yeah.
Okay. We have Shane Stewart coming over. I mean, that Larson guy, Brent Marks is one of the fastest drivers. King Sunshine. Kendra, I can't even fathom. We talked about the 360 field being wide open. I don't know that this 410 field is not a little bit more wide open than maybe it's ever been in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I would say yes. I mean, we went through the whole phase of no one can beat Donnie.
Right.
Since that kind of, I hate to say ended, because I'd love to see Donnie win another one.
Yeah.
But we've had no repeat winners. Jason Johnson, Donnie, Brad, and then David Gravel. So every year there's a new front runner, and that's been really fun to watch. And, I think Larson has to be at the top of everyone's list. He seems to dominate whenever he gets in any kind of car. And he won, 3 races here last year? So he has this place figured out. I mean, he and Paul Silva are just unbelievable here. Beyond that, what I've seen this year is Carson Macedo.
Yeah.
He's been incredible every time he's been here, extremely fast. I think that 41 team and So Deep has Knoxville figured out. They had it figured out with Jason Johnson and again with David Gravel. They're no stranger to victory lane here. I think that Carson would be a really good choice too. And then you've got Kerry Madsen, who's just came out of nowhere in this Tony Stewart racing car and has been incredible. So he would be the first Australian ever to win. And I know that would be painful in a year when none of our Australian fans can get here. But I think they would all be extremely excited to be able to finally say that Australian won the Knoxville Nationals.
Yeah. Kendra, when you look at the next 10 days, I know they'll be completely chaotic for you and you're running in 17 different directions every time I see you. But what are some of the highlights? What are some things that you look forward to? Is it when the checkered flag falls and you get to, interview them and the races are over and you get to, let your hair down a little bit? Or are there moments during the week that you really look forward to because they're highlights for you even as busy as you are?
I try to swing by Kid Zone a couple times when things are hectic and crazy, or quite frankly, just people being rude. I try to get down there to remember why we're doing this, because those are our fans that'll be here 20, 30, 40 years from now. The drivers meeting on Saturday is the one time during the Nationals that seems very stoic and serious. And I like that we all settle down for about a half an hour and realize the intensity and the emotion behind this race. And as soon as driver intros are over on Saturday night, I've kind of made it a tradition for me. I go to the center tower in the pit area and I just stand there and it's quiet. I watch alone. I have my headset on and I just kind of take it all in as though I was still that fan in the grandstands. And that's probably the moment that I exhale the first time all week. And because from that point on, it's out of my control. There's nothing for me to do except be a fan and watch the greatest sprint car drivers in the world battle it out this year for $200,000. So I think those are probably the 3 moments during the week that I enjoy the most.
Neat stuff. That is for sure. I'm telling you what, it is absolutely amazing. And I
thought you were going to say when you came on Wing Nation as our guest on Saturday Tuesday, but it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Or when
I'm just teasing. Time with my dad.
Or
and,
when you sprint.
Dad gets choked up, and then I get choked up, and I'm like, you can't make me cry before the biggest night of the year.
Or
you guys
when
are
you
like Oprah up on that stage.
Yeah. Or like this year when you sprint past Steve Post in the 410 dash.
Oh no, I can't run in it. I got to serve Busch Light and Fireball.
So where is the Busch Light and Fireball station? Are we talking halfway? I mean, I need to know. I got to plan out my run.
So there's not as much on property this year. It's a new route. So there'll be a station in turn 4. So right when you complete your lap.
Oh, so right off the bat.
Yes. And then there'll be another one. You'll come off turn 4 and go around turns 3 and 4, and then you'll exit off the backstretch gate. There'll be another station right there for your last chance. And then the race ends at Peachtree.
So
there'll be plenty of beer to drink at Peachtree when you get there.
That's good. We start off strong with the alcohol for the run.
We start off strong with the alcohol, and then we get to Peachtree so we can follow it with some beer chasers.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I think that one shot of Fireball in the beginning just gets you motivated to keep going.
I will say this. Wing Nation, a couple years ago when Ashley was out there, the first year Ashley went out there, We all three ran in the race.
No, I didn't. Remember, I was sick.
Oh, that's right. You were sick.
Yeah.
You didn't run in the race.
Man,
Nation.
I sounded like Kendra that year.
That's right. You did. Yeah. Joey Denowitz was the guy in charge of the fireball, and he came up to me. He came up to me and he said, "You'll really be proud of Wing Nation." I said, "Why is that?" And he said, "Ashley was the first female that did fireball into the North Campground." He says, "And you were the first one that did a shot of fireball on the way in and a shot of fireball on the way out." And I said, "We got you covered here, Joey. Wing Nation, we got you covered."
Oh, goodness.
It's always fun to see who takes you up on it, who doesn't, because it's usually the ones that you can tell might have had a late night already at Dingus the night before, and they're like, "Oh, just give me some."
Little hair of the dog to help them run.
Let's go.
Hair of the dog. By the way, the guy at Hickory, who was an older guy, said he is walking the 410 dash. It was really neat. We after we got over the glee that we were both going out there and going to be there, and he said, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to walk that 410 dash. I won't be able to keep up with you, but I'm going to walk it because I want to do that." And I just thought, man,
there's a lot of people entered in it. I think it's going to be a record number for that event too.
Yeah.
My dad's in it again. I love that he runs in it every year.
I don't.
They support a lot of the crazy things I do. I can't get them to do yoga yet. But
When's
Mom
the
and
yoga?
Dad,
I might need to. I'm like the most inflexible person, but I like the idea of mimosas up there, so I could be interested.
Yes. Yoga's fantastic.
Yoga,
9
aren't you gonna
a.m.
come with
It's
us?
a beautiful view. The weather's usually nice that early up on the Sweet Tower roof. It's fantastic. And then we end it with mimosas, and everybody starts their day in a very zen-like state.
I'm writing it down.
Or at least it seems like everyone else does. And I think we do have some special guests this year that are going to join us for yoga. So definitely something to do in the morning. That's only Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because we have the run on Saturday.
Okay.
There we go.
You in?
I don't know. No, we're staying way up in Newton. I can't make it down for yoga. I can't make it down for yoga. I can only do so much. I want to go back to the run. And I want to implore. The running crowd is going to be there. The folks that run distance races,
the ones who don't take the shots.
The ones that don't take the shots are going to be there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to implore every sprint car fan to go walk the run.
Mm-hmm.
Just go walk it. Because I'm telling you, and those of you that know my personal story know that 2 years ago, or 3 years ago now, 3 years ago, holy God, that was 3 years ago. 3 years ago, Kendra convinced me to walk the run, and it was life-changing. I mean, and I've shared the story multiple times with various people, and that now I'm doing runs and doing them on a regular basis, and I'm not going to set a speed record in the 410 because I'm going to do the shots, and someone wants to stop and have a beer on the way, I'm going to stop and have a beer with them on the way, so there's no speed record. But I want to implore anybody that is going to Knoxville, get up and walk it. Just go for a walk, and if you don't make it the 4 miles, if you decide to walk from the racetrack just straight to Peachtree, just go
just
out.
to walk the lap on the racetrack.
Walk the lap of the racetrack.
I mean, that's cool.
Get out and stretch your legs because it's amazing. It really, truly is. So it's just the fitness and walking and running has meant so much to me since 2018 when Kendra is the one that convinced me to go walk this crazy thing, which was talk about the weirdest guy, the last guy that's going to be walking it. Now look at it. But I just encourage sprint car fans, get out and do that 410 walk. Do the 410 walk. Do the lap of the racetrack. I don't, you just
Yeah, and if you end at Peachtree, the parade starts at 11.
Oh,
so
gosh.
You're already downtown. You're ready for the parade, which is becoming bigger and bigger and more festive. So it's just a fun way to see a part of the town that you don't normally get to if you're at the track all week. And it's been a part of, the parade is a massive tradition at this track and this event. I mean, I think the parade's been going on for 30 or 40 years.
Yep.
So definitely something fun to do, and you get a little exercise in the process.
Yes, indeed. I wonder if they're going to have the farm. I did when I was there for the trucks. I got up on Saturday morning and I ran from the Econo Lodge into downtown, ran the square, and they had a farmer's market. And there was a woman there that had the best chocolate chip cookies I've ever had in my life. I wonder if she's going to be there.
You ran for the chocolate chips, and this time you'll run for the fireball.
Run for the fireball, but
you got to have motivation.
Got a motivation. I wonder if that farmer's market, Knoxville, your downtown area, your business community, your partners there that sponsor weekly nights at the racetrack, your Peachtree Brewings that have events. Ashley and I are going to host a Pennsylvania posse party there. You have got some really, really great businesses there in town that are all in with the Knoxville Nationals as well, Kendra.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they've had their windows painted.
Yeah.
The NASCAR race here last month. The checkered flags are going out. I've had more people reach out this year about, hey, we'll host people in our house. Let us know if people need rooms. We're going to open up our driveway and our yards to have campers. People are so supportive. And I think missing it last year made people, even in town, who might not be race fans and might not come to the track, they're even more excited. So everyone is just ready for these 2 weeks to get started. They're ready to see the crowded streets and all the golf carts and all the campers here again. We missed it last year. I think the whole industry missed it last year. And, you know, I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself to make this the greatest Nationals ever. And a good friend of mine looked at me when he said, Kendra, we can have it. Everyone's already going to be just happy because we can have it this year. And that helped. It did take a little pressure off to say, you're right, at least we can have it. So hopefully people will say this was the greatest Nationals ever. We do have a couple of secrets up our sleeve that we'll unveil during the week, but it should be a very fun, big Nationals.
It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. I'm all excited. We're all excited here, Kendra. We can't wait. We can't wait to see you. We appreciate you coming on board and joining us. If folks want to come to the 360 Nationals this week, I'm sure there's still tickets available, and they can go to KnoxvilleRaceway.com, correct?
Yes, KnoxvilleRaceway.com. There are not many tickets left for the finale of the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals presented by Casey. So if you are planning to come Saturday night and you have not gotten your tickets yet, do not wait. There's less than 2,000 left now. So those are going to go extremely fast.
We'll sell that joint out. That's what's going to happen. We're going to sell that joint out and see something special. Man, I'm all fired up about this. Kendra, can't wait to see you next week. We appreciate you joining us here on Wing Nation.
Thank you guys so much. Can't wait to see you either. The stage and all the beer and Fireball and everything else will be ready for you.
There's a theme here. There's a theme here.
We have a reputation.
It's a good time, that's for sure. There's a theme. Kendra, love you. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you this week.
There we go. Awesome. Isn't that great?
Yes, every bit of it.
Now, if I wasn't teed up earlier this week listening to KNIA, I'm really teed up now after talking to Kendra. That's going to be awesome. Over the years, Dryden has stood for uncompromised value and proven performance. Known as the hardest working brand in heavy-duty lubrication, Dryden's heritage is made in America and made to last. Dryden products work to increase the life and enhance the efficiency of your equipment in the toughest conditions. Learn more about Dryden's products at Dryden.com. From grassroots racing to NASCAR, Dryden is a proud supporter of racing everywhere. For a year-round high-quality eating experience, look no further than Sage Fruit apples, pears, and cherries. Not only is their produce healthy, but they are grown with such care and precision that you can count on each piece of fruit having exceptional flavor. Sage Fruit, it's our first choice for quick and easy snacking. Get back into NASCAR's roots by driving headfirst into the new home of grassroots racing. Flow Racing keeps the original NASCAR tradition of dirt track racing roaring with more than 1,300 live and on-demand oval races from across the United States. Subscribe today by going to flowracing.com/MRN. Learn how the next generation of NASCAR drivers is prospected in sprint car racing or watch the thrill of last lap slide jobs. Subscribe today by going to flowracing.com/GoMRN. Well, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, I was over on TJ Slideways looking at his calendar, and there is all kinds of racing going on this week. Now, of course, we just talked about the My Hotel Place 360 Nationals. Tonight and tomorrow night, prelim nights. Saturday nights, the 360 Nationals, Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour Series race. And then Sunday is the Fatheads Eyewear Capitani Classic. They're going to be a big, big, big time. They'll have 70 cars for a one-day show for that.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be insane because it's a lot of guys' first sniff of the black dirt, the old black dirt out there. World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. They have the Ironman 55 weekend in Peevely, Missouri at Federated Auto Parts I-55 Raceway. $20,000 to win on Saturday night. Other racing action, Friday night, Lernerville, River Cities, Williams Grove, West Virginia Motor Speedway has 2 nights of racing, Friday and Saturday with a fast sprint. So that big old 5/8 mile oval right there off from Interstate 77, they're going to be up to speed on that. Saturday, Fremont, Lincoln, Muskingum County has the Ohio Valley Sprint Car Association. Port Royal, Sharon Speedway, and the IRA bumper-to-bumper sprints are at Wilmot. Sunday, it's the Buffalo River Speedway in Glendon, Minnesota for the NOSA sprints. And Monday, our good friend Terry McCarl with the Sage Fruit Front Row Challenge at Oskaloosa. One-night stand for $20,000. Why are you laughing?
Because this event is actually one of my favorite races, only because I had two really good races there. So it's one of my favorites of Speed Weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, not to take anything from National, because that's obviously the best part.
That is such a great part of, we have the 360 Nationals, the Capitani Classic, and then we just move down the road a little bit for one night for a party, come back, and then Tuesday night's the party at Dingus, and then game
And
on.
when you say a party Monday night, I mean, that was always Terry's spiel, was a
party when a race broke out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it truly has become that. The infield was always, I think actually it's a little bit calmer than it used to be. I feel like years back it was a little bit wild in there.
Well, T-Mac, it's a Terry McCarl production.
Yes, exactly.
Enough said. Enough said. You don't need to say anything else. It's a Terry McCarl production. Boom. You just put a period on that and say, well, we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time because it's a Terry McCarl plan. I mean.
And one of my favorite times there was a rain out. We had gotten qualifying and heats in, and we had a rain delay. And people were trying to come out of the infield, and they had already been partying there for hours. And the track was as slippery as could be. And I just pulled up a lawn chair. I'll never forget, as long as I live. It was one of the funniest things. Granted, I have a sick sense of humor. No one was injured that I know of, but man, one after another went down, and it was
wow. It's Knoxville. It's Oskaloosa.
Exactly.
It is exactly what it
Their
is.
coolers were usually saved, or their
coolers,
beverage.
well, exactly. Priorities here. Next week, the 60th running of the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals, presented by Casey's General Store. Wednesday and Thursday, the prelim nights. Friday, the final 4 spots, FVP night. Then Saturday, we get into the alphabet soup with the Nationals. $150,000 to win, but $1,000 a lap money, including lap 11, which is Wing Nation.
Mm-hmm.
So $200,000 if a driver can lead the whole thing, the whole shebang. How about that?
Awesome.
Nightly VFW Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit on the Hercules Tires stage. It's going to be aired on Dirt Vision and on Dirt Vision and Wing Nation's Facebook Live page. It's going to be Ashley, Erin, and yours truly, with all the cars and all the stars and all the people and all the folks and all the friends and all the Lord knows what they're going to say this time. It's going to be a great time, that's for sure. So I'm excited. We have shows next week that will, by then, you think we're geeked up now. Oh, you'll see us next week when we're doing these shows. So good stuff, that's for sure. Wing Nation apparel is available at www.wingnation.com. That's wingnation.com. You can follow all of our social media at Twitter, on Facebook. We have a page and a group on Facebook and our YouTube page. So that sounds really neat. Coming up this weekend on Wing Nation television program presented by Sage Fruit, Shane Stewart. Speaking of a great combination at Knoxville, Shane Stewart joins us to talk about Knoxville, about his little racetrack there in Oklahoma City that he's running, or is it Tulsa? It's Tulsa. His little racetrack in Tulsa, and all things Shane Stewart. So you can catch that Saturday on MAV TV. Hey, again, we appreciate Kendra Jacobs joining us. More important than all of that, though, thank you for joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Dryden and DRF Racing Oils.